You might have often seen a person walk on a tightrope holding a bamboo. The balancing bicycle is almost similar. You make a frame with card sheet with a spacer in between, and then you place a wire man. Now this is the wire man and this is the view from the below. These are two big wheels like pulleys with deep grooves made from thick card sheet. Now mount the wheels, first the bigger wheel to the right and then the smaller wheel to the left. And finally place a long wire loop from the center and place heavy nuts or ring magnets. This will weigh the entire assembly down. Place the bicycle on a taut thread, and because of the low center of gravity it will balance. Now if you raise one end, the whole bicycle will move from the left to the right. If the person is the right raises it, it goes to the left. It's an absolutely delightful toy for children. Here you can see Mr. Poddar, the designer of the balancing bicycle. So you can move the bicycle from the left to the right. To make this balloon fountain, you will require a balloon, a stiff straw, a needle, a rubber band and a sellotape. Seal one end of the stiff straw with a piece of tape. Take a long needle and poke it through the straw, thus making two holes. Remove the needle, rotate the straw by 90 degrees and once again poke the needle. Now you would have made 4 equi-spaced holes in the straw. Then fill a balloon with water under a tap or a faucet. Pinch the mouth of the balloon, place the other end of the straw and fix it to the balloon with a rubber band. If you release the mouth of the balloon would exert pressure on the water. It would gush out of the 4 holes in the straw like a very beautiful fountain. On inverting the balloon, it would look like a very nice sprinkler.
tired and feeling alone, wrapped in a ball with a plug from the phone, lying in bed with a cigarette. All of the flowers have died in the vase. All that we are will remain in the past. It's unresolved, come to think of it. I'm stood by the bed, awake at night, watching the colours taking flight. They are sailing on a long forgotten way.
Make this amazingly simple whistle using a crown cap from a Coke bottle, a balloon and a scissors. You can use a torn balloon, and if you don't have one, take a new balloon and cut it with the scissors. The bottom portion would be very useful in making this. Take the bottom portion of the balloon, open this and stretch it very tightly on the mouth of the crown cap. Stretch it tightly and you will find that the notches keep the balloon in place. The middle part would be stretched or would be under tension. Now place this in your mouth and blow on the top of the stretched membrane and you'll hear a very loud sound. The doll on GROUP is an extremely attractive toy. You need 2 old floppies, a bent bicycle spoke, some weights, a piece of straw and a doll. Take an old floppy which are being thrown away these days. This is the film which stores the data, and between this there is a metal disc. You need 2 of these circular metal discs. Apply glue and then stick them back to back. and when you stick them back to back, it makes an extremely nice metallic pulley. This is once again toys from trash. Take a straw and press fit it in the central hole. This is the bush of the bearing. Now place this pulley in a bent U-shaped cycle spoke. Take a doll, apply glue on its legs, and then insert the pulley between the legs and stick the doll on the cycle spoke so that the doll can stand. Now you can see that the two legs of the spoke are hanging down. Ensure that the pulley rotates smoothly. Weigh the two legs down with nuts or weights. Now place this on an inclined thread and the doll will roll down. If you lift once again, see the doll rolling down the inclined thread. It's an absolutely astounding toy. This fan car is fun to make, and it also establishes Newton's third law of motion. You would require some lids, a plastic fan, and all kinds of other odd material. Take two lids and poke a bicycle spoke for the axle. Put a refill which will act as a bush bearing, and then put the axle in the second lid. So the lids now apply some glue so that the lids or the wheels adhere to the axle. The refill is the bush of the bearing. The wheels must rotate very freely on the axle. Now take two pairs of wheels and take a 15 centimeter long plastic scale and attach the wheels with tapes to a plastic scale. This would make the chassis for the car. Now you have a body of the car with two pairs of wheels. Now take a rubber piece. The whole purpose of this piece is to raise the height so that you can place the fan on top of it. Glue these rubber to the plastic scale. This is the undercarriage. Now take a battery operated hand fan. If you switch it on, well, the fan rotates very fast and throws air. Take this fan and place it on the rubber pieces and tape the fan to the body of the car. Now your fan car is almost ready. As you switch it on, the fan rotates and the car goes in the opposite direction. It is just like the rocket, that air goes in one direction and pushes the car in the opposite direction. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It's fun to make. The most important thing in this gear, man, are the gears. Now these gears are made from a tomato sauce tube lids which have serrations, and these serrations mesh with each other. You make two cardboard frames and you make this assembly. If you rotate the lower stick, the upper stick rotates. If you place it under a fan, you can see the fan rotates the gear below it, which in turn rotates the next gear, and the man goes round and round. The gears mesh with each other, and you can see this in a close-up view. If, however, you hold the stick, then the whole frame moves. Well, you can make a generator from an old toy motor. For this you require some wood, 2 old CDs, a toy motor, a LED, and lots of other odds and bits. First, make a wooden stand with an arm, drill a hole and fix a screw over there. Then take 2 old CDs and sandwich some foam rubber to make a large pulley. Also attach a handle to this large pulley. Now take a sewing machine bobbin and place it in the screw like a fat washer, and then place the large pulley and lock it with a small nut. Rotate the pulley to ensure that it rotates smoothly. Then take a 9-volt toy or a tape recorder motor with a small pulley on the axle and attach it to the base of the wood with 2 screws. You can see the white pulley on the toy motor. Finally, take a rubber band and place it between the large pulley and the small pulley. On rotating the big pulley, the small pulley will spin much faster. Now, attach the 2 terminals of the motor to a LED. Once you rotate the large pulley, the LED will light up because the motor is acting like a generator. You can put this LED in a bent straw and make a street light. Once you rotate the big pulley, the LED lights up, the street light glows. In this case, an ordinary toy motor can be converted into a generator.
Hey guys, this is KD and welcome to getutilized.com. In my earlier video, I showed you how to make a wired bot. In this video, I'll be showing you how to turn these things into wireless, basically with the help of radio frequency. I brought this transmitter and receiver kit from Vega Robo Kit. It is basically a DIY kit, so you have to solder all the components on the transmitter as well as on the receiver. So let's go ahead and unbox this. This is basically the RF module, transmitter and receiver, two of them. We are having the PCBs of the transmitter and the receiver. The receiver will come on your board and the transmitter is in your hand, so it basically transmits the data from the switches. It goes to the RF and it goes to the receiver on your board. The components on your receiver, all the components on your transmitter. Oh, they have also provided antennas. Good one. This seems to have some info about the transmitter and receiver module. This shall be description of the circuit and all the components. Let's take a close look at the PCB over here. We are having some slots for the decoding IC. This is HT12D, the name of the IC. Here you can see the word select has been written. So this is basically the DIP switch. So you have to move this up and down to keep it high or low. I'll explain you later what I am talking about. Here you are having some resistors. Here we have some diodes. And oh yeah, this is the 12 volt DC input. This is motor inputs, two motor inputs for the 4 channels. These are the places where the RF module goes. You can also insert the 8-pin modules as well as the 3-pin modules. This is IC 7805. We are having some capacitors over here, and these horizontal lines or vertical lines or these plane lines are jumpers. So you have to just shorten these 2 points over here. Now what remains on the circuit is our motor driver IC. Now we are using L298N. So this IC basically has a current consuming capacity of 4 ampere. So we can draw 2 ampere from one channel and 2 ampere from the other. This is basically IC298N. Has a heatsink on it for higher current capacity. Here are some of the input terminals for the motor and the battery. This is IC HT12D, the decoding IC on your receiver, and this is 7805, reduction from 12 volts to 5 volts, regulator IC, and some other components such as the resistor. We have few capacitors and we have diodes. Now let's begin the soldering of our receiver first. Now this is basically the list of all the components we are using in the receiver module. We will start with the resistors, capacitors, the other semiconductors and the other accessories. So let's begin with the resistors. Now they say that R1 and R2 is of 1 kilo ohm. It is 1/4 of a watt. So go ahead and find a resistor of 1 kilo ohm and place it right here, because this says R1 and this says R2. So with the help of VB Roy of Great Britain had a very good wife, the famous resistor color code chart. Go ahead and determine which resistor is of 1 ohm. So, and bend its legs. Insert it right away. And just give it a tiny solder spot over here. Now before you actually go ahead and solder all these components, I would like to give you a tiny bit of advice. Take a pen knife and take any random component and make sure you scrape off its terminals, because you know there is a tiny coating on it which doesn't allow these components to get soldered on the PCB. So after you complete with all the resistors, go ahead with the capacitors and follow this list one by one. So let's go ahead and solder all the resistors at first. Here we go. As you can see, we have soldered all the 4 resistors. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to take the 3 capacitors and solder them in the right place. So here we go. This is C1, C2 and C3. So C1 now is basically of 100 μF, and C2 is 104 and C3 is 224. So go ahead in your components and find these 3 capacitors and solder them in the right place. Here we go, we have completed with the capacitors. The next thing you'll be doing is taking the semiconductor components, that is the U1 is HT12D, that is a decoding IC, and it is basically provided with a IC socket. So the first thing we'll be doing is taking the IC socket and soldering it. You are not soldering the IC, you are just inserting the IC in this socket. So basically you have to solder this socket. So the next thing is U2 L298N. This IC shall go over here. It is basically a 15 pin IC, so make sure you insert them correctly. And U3 7805 goes over here in a particular way. I'll show you after soldering this. And the next thing is D1 to D8. We have 8 diodes and the value is IN4007. So this is the place where all the 8 diodes go, and you can see over here a slight line. This is the cathode part of the diode. This is basically diode, and as you can see, this gray covering is the cathode, and make sure you solder them correctly. I have completed with all the semiconductor components. Now the next thing remaining on your receiver PCB is the connection for the battery and a motor, your 8-way DIP switch which comes over here, jumpers are basically just single strand wires, and your RF module. Now there is a unique way of soldering your RF module over here. Now we have this 3-pin RF module. Now one of these 3 pins is 5 volt, the second one is data, and the third one is for ground. Now bring in your yellow sheet, and this is the schematic of the receiver module. So the leftmost pin is negative, the center one is data, it is input output, and the rightmost is positive. Come back to your PCB again. So this is 5 volt, data and ground. So this thing shall go in like this. So go ahead and solder this. Here we go, we have successfully completed with the soldering of the receiver. It hardly took me half an hour. And make sure all these spots are shiny. If they are not, it might be a dry solder, so you may need to resolder them. Make sure your RF module is soldered in the correct position or the correct way. Make sure these ICs are not shaking. So here we go, basically we have completed with the receiver. Now repeat the same procedure on the transmitter. So let's go ahead and start with the transmitter. Here we go, your transmitter looks something like this. Turn on battery connection and the RF module. This white wire is an antenna. Now let's come to your receiver and I'll show you how to connect your motors. So here we go, I have fixed the receiver on the board. I have fixed it basically in a plastic case, and I have added a switch between the positive terminal and the receiver. I have also added a connector strip for better connections, and this is a 12 volt 1.2 ampere hour battery. So as you can see, we are having 3 connections over here. One is for battery, the second is for left channel, and third is for right channel. Now make sure we are understanding the terms channel. This thing is your left channel, both the motors are your left channel, and these 2 motors are your right channel. So what basically you're doing is unifying the wires of these 2 motors, terming them as left channel and connecting it in one of these 2 terminals. Same goes with the right channel. So one of them is a left terminal and the other one is a right terminal. So one of them is a left channel and the other one is a right channel. And pulling out the antenna from here, closing it. As simple as that. Turn it on and let's take it out for a run.
Hello there, this video is about how to make a very simple insect robot. You need a mobile phone's vibration motor, one LR44 battery holder, one LR44 1.5 volt battery, one general purpose PCB, and this pins, that is a jumper pin. If you apply 1.5 volt across this vibrator, it starts vibrating like this. Now we are going to connect this vibrator, is the switch and the battery in series. We are going to solder that in this PCB. We first solder the holder, the battery holder, then we'll solder the vibration motor, then we'll connect the wires in series with the battery and the jumper. Now I'll put the battery, and once we'll put the jumper, it will start vibrating, and that will create a random motion and the PCB starts jumping here and there. Now we are going to add 4 resistors to make the legs. We are going to actually solder 4 corner 4 resistors. That's all. I mean, this will behave like a leg, and moment you put the jumper in, the current will flow, the circuit is complete, and it will move around randomly, just like a small insect. Now we added 2 more resistors, so there are total 6 resistors. So it's, now you can see how smoothly it's moving like an insect. The motion is random. It's a cool, easy robot toy. Hope you enjoyed. Try it yourself.
Alright, homemade rubber band powered airplane. Alright, go ahead. It's good.
The jet car is a terrific model which every child loves. You need a old plastic bottle with 2 pairs of wheels, a bent plastic straw attached to a balloon with a rubber band. This is the lower view of the bottle with the wheels. You can see that the wheels can rotate very freely. You make 2 holes in the bottle, one on the base and one on the top, and put the straw at an angle. Now from the opening of the straw, you blow and inflate the balloon. And then close the end with your thumb and place this jet car on a smooth floor, and air will eject out and propel the bottle to about 20 feet. See this jet car once again in motion and enjoy this extreme. There are few toys which are as exciting as this magnetic air fan. You need a old plastic bottle, a bicycle spoke, 2 roller magnets with a hole. Cut the bottle at a distance of 10 centimeters from the lid. Stick 2 plastic tapes, colored tapes, and then cut 12 petals. Open out the petals and flatten them. And then individually twist each petal to convert it into a fan blade. It would have a curvature. Make a hole in the lid of the bottle and press fit a bicycle spoke nut in it. This is the nut from the inside, and you can see the nut popping out. Then screw the bicycle spoke in its nut. Now you would require strong magnets. These are roller magnets with a hole in the middle, and they stick to a steel container, and they can also roll along. So place these magnets, ring magnets, cylindrical ring magnets, into the bicycle spoke, 2 of them, and stick them to the outside of the steel can. If you place the whole assembly under a ceiling fan, the plastic fan will whir, will rotate, and the whole assembly will go round and round the box. It's a terrific toy to behold. As long as the ceiling fan is on, it would keep rotating. So enjoy this toy, and over here you can see the top view. The fan with instead of throwing away old pens, you can make a very nice pump with them. You would require a cycle spoke, some thread, a bicycle ball bearing and a bit of refill. First tie thread on the threaded end of the spoke and then tie a knot. This will become a piston. This thread must be a little tight fit inside the barrel of the pen. Now take the pen and make two holes, one on the body and one on the red end cap. Now remove the end cap and place a ball bearing inside the barrel of the pump, and then put the piston and the connecting rod and then put the end cap back again. You can see the ball and the piston should be free. Finally, put a piece of refill as the delivery pipe. You can see that the ball and the piston are free to move inside the barrel of the pen. Now place the pump in a mug of water and move the spoke or the corn rod up and down. After some time, you would see that water would gush out from the ball pen refill. This is a great pump. With a simple valve, it works.
Hi, my name is Justin McFarland. This is my 5th grade science project. It's a wind turbine generator that creates electricity from the wind.
ஒரு பழைய செல்போன்லேருந்து வைப்ரேட்டர் மோட்டரை எடுத்து வச்சுக்கோங்க. நம்மளுக்கு பக் செய்ய யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். இதுதான் இந்த வைப்ரேட்டர் மோட்டர். இந்த வைப்ரேட்டர் மோட்டரை பேட்டரியோட கனெக்ட் பண்ணால் எப்படி ஜோராக சுற்றுது பாருங்க. ஒரு காலை மெட்டல் வச்சு செஞ்சு அதை பேட்டரியோட ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க. இந்த வைப்ரேட்டர் மோட்டரை நல்லா டேப் போட்டு சுற்றிடுங்க, அது வராத மாதிரி. அதை ஆன் பண்ணி விட்டா எப்படி சுற்றுது பாருங்க, ஜோரா இந்த பக். இப்போ ஒரு பூச்சியை செஞ்சு வச்சுக்கோங்க கார்ட்போர்டால. அதை எடுத்து அந்த பேட்டரியோட இணைச்சிருங்க. அப்புறம் இதுதான் என்னோட வியூ. அப்புறம் நீங்க அதை ஆன் பண்ணி விட்டா எப்படி ஜோரா அது நடக்குது பாருங்க, இந்த வைப்ரேட்டிங் பக். இதுதான் என்னோட டாப் வியூ. वॉकिंग बग நல்லா।
ये एक जनरेटर का मॉडल है जिसमें एक साथ 5 एलईडी जलती हैं। इसके लिए आपको कुछ सशक्त चुंबक, पुरानी सीडी, लकड़ी आदि आदि चाहिए होंगे। सबसे पहले एक लकड़ी का पटरा लें वर्गाकार और उसके पेंदे के ऊपर एक पुरानी सीडी को चिपकाएं। बीचों बीच एक स्क्रू होगा। उसके बाद में एक दूसरी पुरानी सीडी लें और उसमें 4 जगह लंबवत गोंद लगा करके 4 बहुत ही पावरफुल चुंबक चिपकाएं। ये चकती चुंबक है। उसके बाद में एक पुरानी फील्ड की डिब्बी लें और उसमें मोटर वाइंडिंग वाले पतले तार के 500 चक्कर बांधें। इस कुंडली को बाहर निकाल करके उसको अच्छी तरह से बांधें जिससे कि तार खुले नहीं, और उसके दोनों सिरों के ऊपर का जो इंसुलेशन है वार्निश, उसको खुरश करके निकाल दें और इन दोनों सिरों को एक एलईडी के दोनों लीड्स के साथ में जोड़ दें। अब ये रही आपकी एलईडी और कुंडली की एक असेंबली। उसके पश्चात जो लकड़ी के गुटके के ऊपर जो सीडी है उस पर 5 जगह आप गोंद लगाएं और ये 5 असेंबली कुंडली की और एलईडी की आप आधार पे चिपकाएं। यही वो कुंडलियां हैं जिनमें करंट बनेगा और जिनसे ये एलईडी जलेंगे। उसके बाद में बीचों बीच गोंद लगाएं और सिलाई मशीन की एक बॉबिन चिपका दें और जो चुंबक वाली सीडी है उसके ऊपर बीचों बीच थोड़ा सा गोंद लगाएं और एक जो टूथपेस्ट का ढक्कन है उसको चिपका दें। इस ढक्कन के अंदर एक सुराख होगा और इसके पेने में गोंद लगा करके उसी प्रकार एक वॉशर चिपका दें। ये वॉशर जो लकड़ी में एक स्क्रू लगा है उसके अंदर घूमेगा। अब सूखने के बाद में आप चुंबक वाली सीडी को स्क्रू के ऊपर रखें और उसको आप तेजी से घुमा सकते हैं। अब ऊपर वाली सीडी पे गोंद लगाएं और एक 7 रंगों वाली कार्डशीट की बनी चकती को उसके ऊपर चिपका दें। अब आप अगर सूखने के बाद जब आप सीडी को घुमाएंगे तो 7 रंग आपस में मिलकर के आपको एक सफेद रंग जैसा दिखाई देगा और अगर आप इसको अंधेरे में लेके जाएंगे तो ये चुंबकीय रेखाएं कटेंगी और उससे एक छोटा सा करंट पैदा होगा जिससे 5 एलईडी जगमग जगमग करके जलेंगे। तो ये इसमें 2 प्रोजेक्ट हैं, एक तो 7 रंग से मिलकर के सफेद प्रकाश बनता है और एक 5 बत्ती। This is a no magnet motor because it does not use ferrite magnets. Instead, you make an electromagnet. You need insulated copper wire, a battery. Take a meter long 25 gauge insulated copper wire and wind it round and round on a new 1.5 volt battery. Remove the coil, it will look like a spring, and then tie knots on the 2 ends and pull them out. So the coil will become like a circle with 2 ends. Now this wire is insulated and you scrape the insulation completely from one end. You'll see shining copper. On the other side, you just scrape the top, the left and the right. Only 3 sides. One side would be totally copper. The other side would be scraped on 3 sides. 3 sides copper, but one side would be insulation. Then you take a sewing machine bobbin and wind insulated copper wire fully on this bobbin. Scrape both the ends to remove the insulation and you'll see shining copper. When current will flow through this bobbin, it would become like an electromagnet. Now take a 1 centimeter wide rubber band from an old bicycle tube. Take 2 long safety pins and snug them to the plus and the minus of the battery. Now take the bobbin with the wire wrapped upon it, place in the middle of the battery and connect both the ends of the wire to the pins. Now current is flowing through the coil and it has become an electromagnet. Now you keep the moving coil on top. You just need to give it a gentle nudge and the coil will keep spinning. On a brand new battery, this motor would last for almost 45 minutes. This is a no magnet motor. You can see the top view. There is electromagnet in the middle, and of course the spinning coil also becomes electromagnet. And if you bring another magnet on top, well, depending upon which polarity you bring, it will become slow or it will run faster. This solar boat has been designed by LG in Korea and made available through the Department of Physics in the Pune University. This is a pre-made kit. You need to assemble it. Here is a solar panel with a toy motor and a worm gear. When you keep it out of the sun, it rotates. Once a shadow falls on the solar panel, the motor stops. Place the motor in its plastic casing. And this is the solar panel. And this is the body of the boat. Now these are the styrofoam mounts with a hole in the middle where the main axle will come. This is the pilot, and this is the mount for the solar panel, which can be adjusted. Now place the motor along with the worm in position. Place the solar panel on its mount, which is adjustable. Now place the steel axle with the gear in the middle and place 2 paddles on the end. Now this is the entire assembly of the solar boat. You can see the worm is in alignment with the gear. When the gear moves, both the paddles will move. This is a solar panel whose angle can be adjusted to orient it towards the sun. If you place the solar boat in the sun, the solar panel will produce electricity, which will run the motor, which will run the worm gear, and that gear in the middle will operate the paddles. When the shadow falls, the boat stops. And now place the solar boat in a big tub of water. Sun will fall on the solar panel, the motor will run and the boat will go forward. When the solar panel comes under a shadow, the boat stops. Right now it's turning, the paddles are moving and the boat is going round and round. But once the shadow falls on the solar panel, it stops. It's a nice prefabricated kit. This solar toy car is a Chinese ready-made toy. It's difficult to make it because it's difficult to find small solar panels. But it's a very nice toy. You can see these 4 wheels down below. They actually don't do very much. It's powered by this middle wheel. This middle wheel is driven by a motor which runs on the solar panels. If you put it on a board out in the sun, the car strikes a boundary and then turns and moves on. If you place your hand on top of the car, the sunlight is cut and it stops producing electricity and stops. It's a car which does not require any battery because it is run on solar energy. You can place 2-3 cars on a board and place them out in the sun, and they are a delight for children. They don't use any batteries or any electricity. It's based on alternative energy, and you can see the children. For making this spiral illusion, you require an old CD, DVD, a Xerox of the spiral pattern, some rubber adhesive and a marble. First apply glue on top of the old DVD and then stick the spiral black and white pattern on top of it. Press it well so it's evenly stuck. You will see there is a little hole in the middle, and on the rim apply rubber adhesive and stick a marble. Wait for a little while for it to dry. Now you will see that on the reverse is a small spherical surface in the middle which forms a good pivot, and the marble forms a good grip. If you spin it, then the spiral keeps spinning for a very long time. It looks like as if it's exuding energy outwards. Here is this girl playing with this CD top. Now it's spinning in the reverse, and you can see that as if the spiral is going inwards. Now this is a slightly larger diameter aluminum disc with a small dimple in the middle which forms the pivot. If you spin it once, it spins for a very long time. So you first give this disc a spin and you keep gazing at it for a few seconds, and then you look at this plastic brain, and the brain would appear slightly larger in size. This is a very wonderful illusion. this is an extraordinary wind generator. You will require all kinds of hard materials for making it. First, take a film can and make a through hole. Then take 2 short stiff straws and push them in these holes with a gap in the middle. Then take thin insulated copper wire used for motor rewinding and wind almost 600 turns crisscross. Adhere with glue. Take a paper cup and cut out slightly tapered blades from it. This cup has a natural curvature, so the blades would be curved. After you've cut the blades, slightly remove the triangles and make 7 equal blades. Make a hole in the middle of the lid and apply glue on its surface. Once it dries, stick all these 7 blades, and this would make the rotor. Finally, in the middle, press fit a cycle spoke nut. Now this completes the rotor assembly. Take a piece of rubber, stand 4 sticks and stick a little CD piece in the middle. Then cut the film can so as to make just a short pipe. Take the film can and tie it tightly to the 4 sticks. You can also glue it in place. Now take a LED and join the 2 ends of the LED to a wire. Take the bicycle spoke and fix it in its nut. At the end of the spoke, put a piece of old refill. Now take the rotor assembly and insert the fan and the spoke in the 2 bearings with a little yellow rubber in the middle. In the end, take the piece of refill and stick it to the lower end of the spoke. It's on the refill point that this whole rotor would rotate. Now take 2 strong magnets and stick them back to back. The north will stick to the south. Now scrape the 2 ends of the insulated copper wire and attach it to the LED. Now your wind generator assembly is almost ready. You just need to place it under a fan. The rotor will rotate, the magnets will spin, produce some electricity in the coil, and the LED will blink and light up. What a delight!
Sattish Nursery and Primary Palli.
இலக்கம் 97 பெரிய சௌராஷ்டிரா தெரு காந்தி மார்க்கெட் அருகில் திருச்சி 8.
புத்தம் புது காலை